Hey everybody, this is Pugs coming at you with a tutorial here on how to create your own AR09 arena color scheme for the PC version of Fire Pro Wrestling World. AR09 is also known as the USA Grand Dome, which is only available through the Entrance Craft DLC, which you can see right here. Um, One of my favorite arenas doesn't get a lot of love, and for good reason. Um, People love editing the arenas in the game. Um, AR00, 01, 4, 7. I think 2 is becoming more popular. Really great arenas to sort of mess around with, and I have sort of a sample of some of mine arenas that I've been able to create, which I'm really proud of. But nobody really messes with AR09, and for good reason. I mean, you look at this texture file. Um, there's a lot. There's a lot to look at, to deal with. So as a result, I don't know. A lot of people don't mess around with it. Hopefully that ends today. I've created some I'm calling them mod tools through Photoshop, which make editing this file a lot easier. So for the sake of the tutorial, let's just cover some of the things that you're going to need in order to make this happen. First and foremost, obviously, Fire Pro Wrestling World plus the Entrance Craft DLC is a must. I'll put a link in the description to the mod pack testing ground here in Discord. Um, you're going to want to go under modding to release version download links and download the PWG patcher um, offered by Carl Zilla. I'm not going to go into how to install that stuff. It's pretty easy. You could also search the Discord for any information. I'm sure there's a tutorial or something out there as well. And then I also highly suggest, provided to me by Lord himself, Lord2NZ, thanks a lot if you're watching this, the component disable uh, DLL file, which you can also put in through the patcher, the PWGR patcher. It gives you a couple added features, which I will include in some of the arenas, and I'm going to be putting out for AR09 as well as anybody wants to play around with this thing. It's kind of cool. It gives you a couple additional options. You're also going to need Photoshop. I am not aware of any workaround for Photoshop, so that's going to be a requirement. And then lastly, you're going to need a link to my Google Drive, which is going to be right here. I'll put a link in the description below. I have some of my existing arenas under arena mats, and then obviously create your own AR09 color scheme. These are the 4 files, and I have already preloaded them here on my desktop. So um, let's get into it. I want to work this stage first. This is the most complicated file and the one that I just want to tackle first for the purpose of this tutorial. All of you Photoshop experts will probably, not even experts, maybe even novices, you'll kind of get the idea after 1 or 2 examples and then just sort of, you can exit out of the video. But for those of you who want to stick around, see the whole thing, let's check it out. So Maintron's border, this is just the border. Everything, by the way, is set up to hue and saturation. You can obviously change that with your selection, and if you want to change it to something else, do some advanced select options. That's available to you as well. So, but for the sake of the Maintron border, you can adjust the color here. I think let's make a green arena. That sounds fun. Let's make a green arena. So let's do green. So let's do 135. Keep it consistent. So that was my red texture 135. Maintron TV lining. So this is the glare that comes off. It's very, very subtle. It's hard to see, but it bothered me for a long time. As you guys can see this right here. I kind of like saturation down as negative 100. Just kind of leave it as is. There's a Maintron optional small and optional TV lining. Basically, if you want to use an optional texture file that I threw in there, this is it. Obviously, you'll have to disable these and then just play with these right here. So let's go again for that. For the sake of this example, right? Let's do that. And let's set this saturation down to negative 100. So I've got this. And then if you do put a picture in here, just know that it's actually got to be flipped and upside down. So it's going to be facing the complete opposite way. And if you download my WrestleMania 30 arena, you'll see an example of that. Okay, the Sidetron borders, same thing, but for these Sidetrons, we'll do the negative 130. Oh, is that, oh, plus 135, so 135. The TV line and glare will do the same thing. I just want to get rid of the saturation. Maybe make it pop a little bit. Yeah, just cause. The globe. What color do we want to make the globe? I guess we can. Should we go for green? I guess we can go for green. You can increase the saturation. Just be careful. A lot of these textures weren't really designed to be played around with like this, so um, just know that. And then also there's a secondary light available. You can kind of see it here. Um, you're going to want to play with that as well. So I'll get rid of the saturation for that. Um, and then I'll take a look at the ramp. So this is experimental, the ramp lights. I just, there's too many of those texture. It's the only thing I didn't touch. I started mapping them out. This is more experimental if you want to play with this, but I just didn't care enough to add the lights. There just came a point after like 30 hours of doing this texture file that you just say screw it. So I might include it in the future, but for now I'm just going to leave it as is. Stage lights, your pink ugly lights. Maybe we'll go with a green here. That's kind of bright. Maybe we'll darken it just a bit. Yeah. Saturation. The main stage, I'll keep an eye on these guys. We'll also go with a little green. The top, so these are mapped out. Really, the only thing you can do is just make them white. I personally think it looks ugly. Just know that they're mapped. Again, it's one of those things that's kind of experimental. If you guys want to place your own textures in there to sort of play around, by all means. Walkway inner panels, so that little entranceway was able to actually separate the two sets of panels. There's the panels from the inside, which you can kind of put like a light glare, which I kind of like. So let's see if the stage is going to be green. Let's just go with like let's go with a black. Let's go with a black just to see what it looks like. Walkway outer panels. That one. Let's see. What would make sense here? Should we go with green? We gotta find them. Here we go. So sometimes you're gonna have to find these textures to be able to pick the color, because obviously the color scheme here doesn't work well, right? These things come default gold, so we'll go to the green, saturate it, maybe darken it just a tad. Fire Pro Wrestling letters. I don't know how many people actually enjoy looking at this this like weird looking text, but for the sake of this example, we'll make it white. Maybe not too white, maybe like more like a gray. Reflected light, so by default it's red. Let's make that 135 so it's reflected green. Basically all the textures around the arena, all the trusses, those metal trusses, they have a reflected light, so we'll make that green. The cannons, let's also make those green. Green is the theme. Increase saturation a little bit. There's a secondary color on the cannon. I'll actually leave... nah, screw it. Let's go with black. Let's unsaturate it. Make it a little dark so you guys can kind of get to see what that looks like. And then there's a frame that holds the cannon. I'll just leave that as the reflected green. I think that will work. Look pretty nice. Okay, so we're going to save this as, for the sake of this example, we'll just put it on the desktop. It has to be a PNG file. Put it on the desktop. We're going to save it. Okay. And we're done with this one. So we'll move this one off to the side. The rest are really, really easy. So ring mats, currently red. I don't know. I really like the black. If you do saturation in like a -80, I think it looks so awesome. Matches like the true aesthetic of like professional wrestling in like the mid 2000s and stuff. But um, for this example, um, let's go green. I don't know. Yeah, let's go green. Let's go with a green color. Get wacky. Okay, and then the stage lighting. So there's also stage lighting here. We'll also go a little bit on the green side, and maybe these ring mats look a little too green, so we'll darken them just a tad and remove just a little saturation and just leave it like that. So now we're going to save this as to the desktop, again, PNG. Oh, we want to call this experimental. I should have renamed that file. So I'm just going to call it experimental. The lights, we'll get to that one here in just a second. The lights, lights 1, lights 2. Let's make lights 1 green, stick with that theme. And then lights 2, um, let's go with like, I don't know. What looks good here? Blue? Yeah. Nah, that's too original. It's too original. Let's go with yellow. Let's just go with the yellow. Okay. So we got the yellow. I'm very fickle at times about my creations. So PNG, experimental, lights, that's going to be saved. And then lastly is just our basic AR09. This one I made blue before, as was earlier, just playing around. But light reflection, again, let's go for that green. And obviously I'd probably maybe put a little bit more care. So if this one's 135, and this one should probably be 135, and it should match. Yeah, it looks like it matches. Our second reflection, you're probably going to want to go with the yellow that's here. It just looks awkward if you mix and match those colors. Obviously, you guys, do what you want. You guys are adults. You can decide. You can see those the reflections off the barriers. TV outline. Let's just make it maybe white, just cause. The outside barrier currently blue. Let's go with that green, right? Let's go with that green color. So for the mats we did, we'll do a plus 100, -17, -20. -20. That doesn't look right. Did I mess up again? Well, I guess so. We'll find, there's that green. Beautiful. Then we have the announce tables, the sides of the announce tables. I do not like this standard red, yellow crap. I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm just going to get rid of the color. And I'm going to do the same thing for the side of the announce table. Just so you guys know, this sort of lay over here. You can change the colors as well, but for the sake of this example, just remove the color and just leave it as is. So we're going to save as to the desktop, PNG, experimental, and we're done. So I just want to go back and obviously rename this stage. So I'll call it experimental. And we're done. So now we want to go to AR09. I'm going to grab our experimental files, put them in here. So we're all set. The next thing I want to do, and I'm just going to show you, I'm actually not going to do it, but if you go into the mod pack data, this is the component disable. I have already pre-built some experimental text files. These were actually, like I said earlier, provided by Lord. And so the only thing I edited in this case is the stage text 0 through 4 because I just kind of want to show it off here in this example. But this disables those little fire flame trons in the arena. So you want to set it up as AR09 space dash space and then the name of your ring. Not the name of these files, the name of your ring. I messed that up so before. So just know that's already set up. And I already have the game preloaded. I have the experimental ring all set up. The last thing for us to do is to pull up our PWGR mod thing here. We're going to go to the experimental under ringside textures, continue the USA Grand Dome. We're going to select experimental. That's the file that you want to select, and then the rest will follow. Haven't messed with nameplates or anything, so we'll just leave those as is. But now we're all set and ready to go. We should be good to go. So we're just going to go random select here. Stephen Dunn versus Randy Savage. So good luck to those gentlemen. And I will. So as you guys can see here, you've got your textures, and they're in place. Let's see if we can see that green. There it is. There's that green mat. You'll also be able to notice it's very subtle, but just the reflective light off the top of the barrier is also green. So really awesome stuff. You can see the green fireworks, the black bracers or that secondary cannon. We'll skip past this for now. I want to enter free cam mode here. But so yeah, you guys can see we've got the half trons, you've got that green light, you've got the white lettering, you've got the globe that follows, the stage with the lights, you got the yellow, which is really awesome. And then if I take a look in here, let's see if I can get, there we go. You guys can see the announce tables. They've got that gray, that black, so it sort of looks like more that WWE, WWF style, the outside barriers, everything. So this is the story. This is the mod tool and how it works. Obviously, you guys can go in there, play around, have fun, mess around with this stuff. Just download the tools, play with them, enjoy, go crazy, and just share your content back with the community. Maybe make your own Google Drive with your own arenas. And if you guys feel the need, maybe get a little bit more experimental and, maybe start adding some text up here or something. I don't know. Whatever you guys, whatever your heart desires. So that is a tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.